Hello everybody, this is going to be probably my last video for a short while because hopefully things will be changing for me finally and I will not be available to make this kind of video, although I might make some sorts of videos along the way, but it'll be a while until I'm settled enough to make any more of this kind. So I have lots of things to say. Some of them are quite personal and some of them are quite universal, and therefore it is not going to be a load of self-indulgent twonk. I made that word up, I think it's quite suitable. Anyway, if you hear lots of this, it's because I wear gloves to protect you from looking at my gnarly hands, and there's kind of a squelchy sound of my slippers on the floor, which does not mean my floor is dirty, it's just that they're very squelchy shoes, or something of that ilk. Let's press on, waffly waffle. Anyway, I've missed you. It's nice to be talking to you again. I hope to be talking to you as soon as I can. Where shall we begin? I think we'll begin with this, which is a book called, as you can see, Utopia Avenue by the most excellent author, David Mitchell. Now, you know that I like to promote other people's work in these videos and to tell you how they have inspired me, or the synchronicities they have brought about. Well, I just bought this on the understanding that it was a book about the late 60s music scene, and as I am very much motivated by music and inspired by music, I thought it'd be worth reading. But I'd forgotten that David Mitchell is also a master at writing about other realities and other possibilities and magical realms intertwining with this one, and all sorts of lives, parallel lives, and this is no exception. And so it proved a great delight to me to discover that it wasn't just a straightforward book about music, although that was nice too. It features all sorts of characters from previous books and great ideas about just the nature of reality. I think that's the best way I can put it. I would recommend it highly. As with all my books, I liked it so much that I dropped it in the bath. Most of my books, as I've said before, look like this. I have to hold them together with elastic bands because they end up floating around in the bath with me, which annoys me greatly, but I have I've never managed to not do it. So I have a bookshelf which is full of books that are about twice as fat as they should be, and rather rippled and not very pleasant looking, so you wouldn't want to borrow one off me, I can tell you. Anyway, why am I mentioning this book? Because in it, one of the characters writes a song called Eight of Cups, and he is very inspired by the meaning of the Eight of Cups, which he chances upon, I think, in the house of the Grateful Dead, which is obviously a bit of artistic license. All sorts of people crop up in this book: Janis Joplin, Leonard Cohen, Frank Zappa, obviously completely fictionalised, but it's great fun if you fancy it, and also has that interesting playing with time that he does so well. Anyway, the Eight of Cups. So I thought, time for me to revisit my own Eight of Cups in my everyday enchantment deck and to compare with the traditional. And then I realised just how pertinent this card was for me at the moment. On the left, obviously, you see a very bad, my printer seems to be running out yet again, a very bad copy of the Rider-Waite-Smith version and then my version. I wanted to draw some parallels between them in terms of the design, which I haven't been able to do in the book because of the limited amount of space I was given to write in. The original book was about 3 times the size, and so I had to cut it down and lose a lot of the information. Anyway, what was I going to say? Shall I talk about the artistic parallels first or the meaning? Let's talk about the art first and then we can go into what it means, especially to me at the moment. Right, you can see where I have picked up I hope you can. I haven't done one of these videos for a while, so I'm not quite used to doing this properly, and I'm wondering whether I'm going to cut bits off. I tried with the Everyday Enchantment deck to use as many elements from the traditional deck as I possibly could, so there'd be lots of points of reference for people who were already familiar with the Rider-Waite-Smith deck to see in my deck. So, for instance, the protagonist is wearing a red cloak, mine is wearing a red hoodie. There is a moon, there is a moon. It might be worth looking at my larger print here. There, you can see it a bit better. Perhaps we'll look at that in a moment. Yes, there is a narrow pathway between the rocks. There is a narrow pathway between the doorway, her patio doors there. The only real difference, there might be more, there's also a similarity in the staff that the person is using to walk away with, and there's a broom here handle. I just tried to get as many elements in that I possibly could. I worked extremely hard on getting this to be as eloquent a translation as I could, but with as many reference points as too, so that they would be familiar and usable. I wanted it to be as usable as possible, but not to plagiarise it, just to update it, but taking the key points out of it. I think I've made that clear, haven't I? Yes, one of the things that is very different is the fact that this person is moving away from their past here, as we could call it, and leaving a very tidy scene behind them. Everything's in order. They've put their house in order and they're off, going to their new life, going to their new place of learning, going to their new level of experience. Whereas my lady has not done that. She has just broken off in mid-washing up and said, this is the moment, I've got to go now. If I don't go now, I might never do it. Just, her head's bowed like the traveller is maybe bowed, but her head is more bowed because she's got more of a burden in the fact that she knows she's leaving a mess behind, basically. So there's a difference here, and I wanted that to be clear, that she's doing it kind of reluctantly, but she knows she has to. That the need for self-preservation and the inner drive that she has to go is stronger than her sense of duty at that point. She's weighed it up and she knows that this is the moment, and if she doesn't do it, she'll be stuck at that sink for some considerable time to come. I think, yes. And if I go back to the story, which features in the accompanying book that goes with my deck, she says, I didn't think I had it in me, but my spirit suddenly surged and carried me forward in a one-woman uprising. I have to go, and go now, because if I don't flow with this tide, then I'll remain stranded and desolate. And further on it says, it may not be all plain sailing, and while we may feel all at sea for a while, at least we're on a voyage of discovery and not clinging to a lonely, dismal rock. Sooner or later we'll spy land again, and it'll be a more fertile and sustaining place where we're free to explore the possibilities, no matter how weary we feel today. And she clearly does feel very weary and maybe not up to the task ahead. Then we should feel encouraged to act now, because here's the impetus to have the life we've dreamed of. We can and will make the fantasies of the Seven of Cups into reality. So, yes, this is an important card. I think it was the synchronicity of it appearing in this book, which I have just finished. I just felt the compulsion to look at this card again and see what it meant for me, and perhaps what it could mean for you at this particular point. When my mum saw my design for this, this isn't the original, this is just a copy, but when my mum saw the design for this card, she was pretty horrified that this woman had decided to leave behind all this mess and not get on with her job of washing up. My mum was the most house-proud person I've ever come across in my life. I say she was because she's no longer with us, but she really was, and so that really disturbed her. Why is she's not done her ironing, and she's not, she didn't get this at all. Why it would be possible to walk away from something, but I understand it. I understand it completely. I'm doing more of this. I'm leaving my house in order. I've been putting my house in order, metaphorically and literally, for a long time. And I was doing that because, to be honest, I didn't think that I was going to be around for much longer in terms of this physical existence. So I felt it was only right and proper to leave my house in order so that somebody wasn't going to come along to a complete chaos and have to sort through it. So I did that, and for a long time I was kind of stuck in this place. The place of the Five of Cups, where I was just completely stuck, stranded on that rock of grief and misery and regret and guilt and loss, and just lost in loss. And I've been there for a long time, and you probably gathered that from some of my videos. As much as I've tried to be buoyant and give you as much information and entertaining in things as I possibly could, you probably sensed, the more sensitive ones among you have probably sensed, that there has been a great sadness for me for a long time. So I was doing that and not this, so that somebody would not have to come in and clear up my mess when I was departed. But now I think I am going to be departed in a more literal physical sense rather than a spiritual departing. So even so, getting my house in order was a good thing, and I'm not leaving all this behind because I'm hoping to be able to move on, literally move on from this situation. Now, nothing is set in stone. In fact, if we look at this card, she's in the process of making that. She could get to those doors, or he could get to that rock over there and change his mind and go, no, this is too much, I can't do it. And to be honest, this is how I feel at the moment. I've made a little bit of a step forward, but I'm thinking, I can't do this. I really cannot do this. It's too much. Somebody just take it all away. I'll just go back to where I was and give up. But I think with the thing that's important about the fact that they're wearing red is that there's a lot of energy. Even though we can't feel it, I certainly couldn't feel it, there is a lot of energy. It's not, there's a lot there still. We haven't completely faded out into black yet. We are still, the life force is still in us, and why that's still there, we still have the hope that things can change and move on and go through those doors and towards the path into whatever. So yes, this is where I am. I am literally that person standing there, and this is why I want to share this with you, because I was hoping that these cards would be relevant in life, not because I wanted, well, I did want to demystify these cards so that they would be accessible to more people. I did want to do that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. There's fantastic, beautiful, perfect deck, or as perfect as anything can be in this world. But yes, it was important to me to make it relatable, and I can fully relate to that. It's working for me, shall I say. I don't want it just worked for me. I'd like to know that it worked for lots of other people, but unfortunately, because of my physical problems, I cannot sit at the computer to get your comments. So I'll just have to hope that what I've done with this deck is working for you too when you pull these cards, and that you can see yourself in some of them and relate to them in the same way that I'm able to. When I wrote this, I had no idea. So when I wrote this, it was over a period of 10 years, but I was writing it predominantly, I think, in around 2014-15, very, very extensively, because it was a big, big book that had to be edited, and now it's like a little tiny book to fit in the box. But yeah, so I'd had no idea when I was doing that I would one day be able to relate to this so amazingly well. But I can. There you go. I really just wanted to say that, I think, and draw the parallels between this one. I think I haven't done enough of this, really, of late. I haven't been focusing on this deck. I've been trying to cram in as much as I could about all my other work and everything that I've ever done and everything that I've ever thought and all my interests and blah, blah, blah. And that was because I was kind of putting my house in order, really. That was me creating a record so that when I was departed, then you would have that, or the world would have a record of my work. And that's good, I'm glad I did it. But I think it's more positive to think that I will be existing on this level of reality for a while longer, and to carry on updating the work rather than just be, well, literally disappearing into whatever comes next. Being rather cryptic, aren't I? It's been a very bad time for me, and I can't say that it's over. That's why I'm still twixt the sink and the doors, but at least the doors are open, and at least I'm moving towards them. Not that this was ever me, it doesn't look anything like me, but you know what I mean. That person is embodying where I am at. So, did I want to say anything else? I don't know, I'm already at 15 minutes. I make these videos far too long and I leave too many gaps between them, and there's going to be quite a gap between this and the next one. And probably when I finish this, I'll think of lots of other things that I wanted to say to you about it, really. Just to show you the bigger version. Yeah. So, what else can I say? Besides just wasting your time going, ew. Yeah, I will be back as soon as I can. If this continues and I continue to progress, albeit slowly and with a great deal of trepidation towards whatever lies out here, then there will be more. I'm hoping that if I do this, and that entails moving away from where I am, which has been my parents' house. I've been in my parents' house. I don't like giving too much personal information, but I can't really get around it, can I? I have been in my parents' house now for over 3 years, on my own, in an area that I don't like at all. And it nearly did for me. It nearly finished me off, to be honest. And I'm hoping that it isn't going to, and that I'm going to get out of here. So I'm hoping that as part of my trying to find somewhere to move to, I might be able to make some videos of nice places, because I haven't been able to do that while I've been here, because frankly I just haven't had it about me at all. It's just I have just been lost in loss. Very, very sad and weary, completely weary, world weary, broken almost. But I hope that if anyone's listening to this is the main point of this video, if anyone's listening to this who feels like that, I tell you, a month or 2 ago, I would never ever have thought that I could even have got up and started to move. I was pretty much done for, really. Yeah, is there anything here that I can read to you that sums that up? Yeah, just the words depleted and dispirited, and yes, we're giving up a cage in favour of freedom. It may be less materially secure, but liberty is beyond price. And so is inspiration, because I've been existing in a place where there's been absolutely zero inspiration for me, and for me as an artist. And well, I was a writer, but I can't write anymore because of my hands and my back. But yes, as an artist, there has been complete lack of anything inspiring for me. As much as I tried to follow the ethos of the Everyday Enchantment deck and find that enchantment, I tried so hard to do that. But after a while, my tank was empty, the well was dry, and I just ran out of steam totally. I was just, yeah. And it's scary moving away from here, because this is my parents' house, and once it's gone, that link is forever broken. But if I stay here in this materially secure cage, I will just fall to the bottom of it and probably not get up again. So I have to do this. Wish me luck. I don't really do luck or crossing fingers or any of those things. Wish me well would probably be better. Things are so uncertain at the moment that I don't know whether I'll ever make it to those outdoors, not just because of my lack of oomph or my stamina or my poor health or anything else, but because of how things are in the world. So we can only hope, and hope next time that I come back to you I can give you some good news about something. That would be lovely. Meanwhile, I send you all my love. Thank you for watching this rather personal and strange video, and all I can say is stay free, and that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do all the time. Stay free, stay true to yourself, and you never know what's going to come. You don't know. Don't give up. Don't give up. If I'd have given up when I thought I was going to, then I would not be making this video, and I'm so glad that I am. Okay, stay free. Big hugs to you all, and I'm sorry I can't answer your comments. Thanks for watching. Bye.